Hello everyone, this is Maki. The great creator of the Gundam series Yoshiyuki Tomino recently made a special appearance. On July 8, a space-related business event was held in Japan. The event was titled Space Type 2025. Now, this wasn't a Gundam-centered event. It was actually hosted by organizations that research space development technologies, such as JAXA. Mr. Tomino was invited as a guest. Mr. Tomino has extensive knowledge of space-related technologies. He often shares his thoughts on such topics in books and interviews. It's the brand of realism and entertainment that gave birth to the Gundam franchise. Today, let's review what Mr. Tomino shared at the event. Understanding his perspective may offer a fresh view of the universal century world. Among some Gundam fans in Japan, July 8 is known as Gundam Day. This is because it relates to the model number of the original Gundam, RX-78. So, what did Mr. Tomino talk about on Gundam Day? Before we dive in, I have a quick announcement. My channel offers membership support. For just 99 cents a month, you'll receive a name badge and comment stamps. Alright, let's get started. The host began by saying, many of the people gathered here today watched Gundam as children. Many of them were inspired by dreams of a future where humanity ventures into space, and they now pour their passion into the space industry. It's fair to say we have a lot of Tomino's children here today. In response, Tomino said human beings cannot live in space. His words surprised the audience. After all, the event's theme was developing space and enabling humanity's expansion into it. However, it's important not to take his words entirely at face value. Mr. Tomino often refers to himself as an episode director, and not without reason. In fact, his first involvement in animation was with the series Astro Boy, where he worked as an episode director. Livening up the atmosphere is Tomino's specialty. This comment could also be interpreted as Tomino's intention to liven up the mood. Nevertheless, it's true that his words captured everyone's attention at the venue. Tomino had this to say about space development. There are people talking about sending settlers to Mars and promoting reckless plans. They don't understand how hard space really is. They have no real grasp of the vast distances between planets. If you send a rocket to Mars, how will you prepare fuel for the return trip? They talk about sending people there without considering that there's no resupply base on Mars. That kind of thinking comes from amateurs. Tomino spoke in a firm and uncompromising tone. I don't have any expert knowledge about space development. When it comes to famous figures who have spoken about plans to colonize Mars, Mr. Elon Musk comes to mind. Tomino's words were harsh to say the least. However, I think it would be a mistake to interpret them as mere criticism. If he had already concluded that space development is impossible, I doubt he would have agreed to participate in this event. So, what if we looked at his words as encouragement in his own way? Of course, that's just my personal interpretation. Tomino often says that to create stories, you must study many different types of knowledge. That includes historical events. Throughout history, people have achieved what was once thought impossible. In terms of human transportation, for example, cars and boats were once thought impossible. Even in Japan, the Wright brothers who invented the airplane are widely respected as great figures. Mr. Tomino is naturally well aware of these historical breakthroughs. He also understands that the people attending this event are passionate and knowledgeable. Perhaps he made those remarks knowing this crowd wouldn't give up just because of a little criticism. Tomino shared his thoughts on space development. First, we should focus on making tourist trips to low Earth orbit a reality. But they shouldn't just be for sightseeing. We need to send politicians, military personnel, religious leaders, and scientists to low-orbit satellites. They need to see the Earth with their own eyes. Doing so will surely trigger a shift in the way they see the world. From space, the Earth has no visible borders. You can orbit the entire planet in just about 90 minutes. Spending 3 days observing the Earth and having discussions would be an incredibly meaningful experience. I want children to have that kind of experience, too. To make that possible, we need absolutely safe rockets. Although Tomino rejected the idea of colonizing space, he clearly expressed his passion for developing means of space travel. Isn't he essentially saying let's achieve the immediate, reachable goals first? Of course, someone like Elon Musk, who's leading large-scale projects, needs to present a big vision to investors and government officials. In that sense, the difference in their messages likely reflects the difference in their roles and positions. Then, Tomino spoke as he showed a scene of the space elevator from Rikamizenji. In the Gundam story, we depicted a world in which part of the overpopulated human population was relocated to space colonies built in orbit. However, after 20 years of researching movement and life in outer space for these works, I concluded that humans cannot live in space. I couldn't discuss this idea with anyone while I was still working on Gundam. In order to move people and supplies into space, you need an elevator. The elevator I'm showing you now isn't a single car design. It's made up of 5 cars. Unless you can build something of that scale, logistics and everyday life won't be sustainable. While stating that humanity cannot live in space, Tomino discussed the technologies needed to make such a life possible. The idea that humans cannot live in space has been echoed throughout the Gundam series. From the beginning of the original 0079, the idea that humanity should move into space to restore Earth's natural environment has been part of the story. Starting from Zeta Gundam, we see characters who refuse space migration and want to continue living on Earth. In Tane Gundam and Rikamizenji, the theme of people attempting to return from space to Earth is central. This theme also plays a major role in Hathaway's Flash. This is something I explained on my show before. Hathaway stands up against the idea that the people of the Earth's Federation government are cleverly trying to manipulate the law so that only they can live on Earth. What do you think? Do you think it's possible for humanity to live in space? Mr. Tomino's comments are profound but difficult to interpret. Even today, there are people living in space. Astronauts aboard space stations are living examples of this. After spending time in space, they return to Earth and undergo physical training and medical care to readjust to Earth's gravity. Nevertheless, the fact remains that they live in space, even if only temporarily. As technology continues to advance, I believe it will eventually become possible for humanity to live in space. However, the physical feat and the mental adaptation are two separate challenges. The Gundam series has shown that even if we achieve space living through technology, there will still be people who long to return to Earth. If you have any thoughts on this, I'd love to hear them. Thanks so much for watching until the end. I'll see you in the next episode.